Warning, spoilers for Half-Life 2 will be discussed. This tune was all too familiar with me, but the fact that I was booting up Half-Life 2 for the first time brought heaps of anticipation from its almost legendary reputation in gaming. I'd played Valve games before, but had never gone into one with expectations like these before. The game's popularity coupled with my previous experience with Valve made me feel as if I was about to be enlightened with why this company is loved so much, and it definitely delivers. But not at first. I'd started playing the first Half-Life a full year before, but I felt pretty underwhelmed by it. Mate, how dare you? Half-Life is one of the best games of all time, and to even criticise it should be a crime. Have you no respect for the art this game is? And you call yourself a PC gamer? Maybe I've become soft in the modern age of gaming, but it just felt wrong to play it. I kept taking so much damage compared to what I felt I was putting in, and just became frustrating to play. This sort of stuff wasn't what I was expecting, and just grinded my patience to dust by the time I quit. So why did I boot up Half-Life 2 after the first didn't impress all that well? Besides the fact that I didn't really need to play the first game to know what was going on, I was feeling a bit guilty as another victim of Steam sales. Couple that with everyone saying this is the best game of all time, I figured why not give it another try. And now I finally understand why people hold this game so dearly to their hearts. Right from the start, you're greeted with G-Man's first speech that perfectly sets up a mysterious tone from the beginning train ride. From there I was a sponge, absorbing all the atmosphere and the world building, where I soon came to a game of bliss by being fully absorbed into the experience. Not having a cutscene here really helped with immersing me in this world, and really helped with all the quiet moments, considering how atmospheric the game is. My standout moment, among many, is the gravity gun tutorial during Black Mesa East, as it blends storytelling so well to gameplay that to create some of the most organic level I've played ever. You really establish a connection to Alex and Doc, which helps set the groundwork for the rest of the story to build on, whilst also seamlessly teaching you the basics of the gravity gun. It threw me off to when the Combine arrived, as it's such a heartfelt moment that violently transitions into the excellent Ravenholm chapter with spectacular results. The gravity gun really shines in Ravenholm as an amazingly designed weapon, considering how simple yet so unique its design was, that I hoped there was more levels based on it using it in combat. Considering how throwing different objects opened so much variety, from the form of barrels to saw blades to explosive barrels, that I felt the combat could have taken a whole nother direction. But maybe the gravity gun being used situationally was full of better, as it isn't expanded upon much other than throwing stuff at enemies or throwing exploding stuff at enemies, until the finale, where it's essentially a set piece more than anything else. Nor has it varied much in the later episodes, which makes me open to the fact that they may have pushed it as far as they wanted or probably could. Unfortunately, some of the arsenal, such as the crowbar, pistol and SMG, didn't impress me as much as the gravity gun. The crowbar only serves as a homage to the first game, as its limited use is eclipsed by the gravity gun so early that I would never consider swapping to it. Additionally, the USP does pitiful amounts of damage that only really saw use when I was wanting to save ammo with my other guns. This was until episode 2, where it does come into light a bit when the Magnuson device is introduced. But then it could be easily replaced with any other weapon, so there isn't much point. The crossbow is very limited in its use, as considering how rarely the situation actually calls for it to be used. You could even finish the game and never use it. I only used it because I was running out of ammo, but a competent player could have easily just not used it at all. The SMG and pulse rifle are also a part of the problem, as they could have been one weapon just to hold that mid-range gun title, and then that would give the crossbow some more use. By having a pulse rifle primary and the SMG secondary, it would have a clear purpose for its use. These are just suggestions to polish the solid core that's already established. Other minor problems I have revolve around the levels dragging on for too long, or they hold for no reasons other than to show off the physics engine, which really hasn't aged well, but I guess that could be expected when they're just the norm nowadays. Also, I felt that it was unnecessary to have sprint oxygen and your torch share the same suit power, as it really just detracts the game from gameplay for no reason. It's most apparent in episode 1, especially in this elevator battle, as the desired challenge becomes more frustrating than it should have been. The use of fire is so unique, but the suit functions make the light so underwhelming, as I'm more focused on managing such design flaws rather than engaging in the fight. But again, all these issues are minor, as the game is fantastic to play through, regardless, especially as Episode 2 fixes many of these issues, such as putting the flashlight on its own sort of timer. However, everything we've been playing for is undermined by the fact that this just isn't finished. Like, the end of Episode 2 and what it laid out for the supposed third act could not have been better set up, but it's all meaningless without a satisfying ending. The fact that Valve refuses to say anything about Half-Life 3 makes it pretty clear that they've given up on it. And even if it's in the works, it'll likely turn out to be another Godfather 3 in my opinion. But Half-Life 2 and the episodes are definitely some of the best single-player games I've ever played, and would easily recommend them to anyone, despite ending on one of the worst cliffhangers in history. The gameplay and story are woven into each other so well that I was immersed throughout the whole experience, where other games would have just had me bored halfway through. I've had no regrets playing through this, despite being fully aware of the cliffhanger ending, and I'm glad it inspired me to make this video as a result. It's not the best game of all time, but considering that it led me to make this video, it's a clear sign of how much of an impact it had on me for all the right reasons. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please be sure to like and subscribe. I'm planning to do more content like this in the future. If you want to discuss this further, please comment below. I'm sure I've done plenty of things wrong about it, or missed a couple of things, so please feel free to do it. Thank you so much for watching.